The world economy is now a component for many businesses, and every business in turn creates the globalized environment. We will delve into the factors which impacts a manager operating in a globalized environment. At the end of this topic, you should be able to explain what is the global environment, explain the process of globalization, explain the key issues and consequences of a global economy, differentiate between outsourcing and offshoring, explain the factors to consider for offshoring. The global environment is a set of forces and conditions in the world outside an organization's boundary that affects how it operates and shapes its behavior. These forces change over time. Thus, they present managers with opportunities and threats. Some changes in the global environment, such as development of efficient new production technology, availability of lower cost components, or the opening of new global markets, create opportunities for managers to make and sell more products, obtain more resources and capital, and thereby strengthen their organization. In contrast, the rise of new global competitors, a global economic recession, or an oil shortage poses threats that can devastate an organization if managers are unable to sell its products so that revenues and profits plunges. Globalization is the set of specific and general forces that work together to integrate and connect economic, political, and social systems across countries, cultures, or geographic regions. As a result, nations and people become increasingly interdependent because the same forces affect them in similar ways. Global organizations operate and compete both domestically and globally. They need to deal with uncertainties and unpredictability. An organization's external environment is made up of task environment and general environment. General environment, also known as macro environment, includes economic, technological, socio-cultural, demographic, political, and legal forces. The task environment, also known as competitive environment, comprises of competitors, distributors, customers, and suppliers. There are 6 key issues of the global environment that needs to be examined. Economic environment forces affect the general health and well-being of a country or world region. They include forces such as foreign investment, growth of and rising wages in developing nations. Technological environment forces are outcomes of change resulting from the combination of tools, machines, computers, skills, information, and knowledge that managers use to design, produce, and distribute goods and services. Examples would be the internet, wireless, and recent cloud technology development. Legal or regulatory environment forces are the outcomes of changes in the laws and regulation. They result from political and legal developments that take place and significantly affect organizations everywhere, such as free trade agreements and anti-corruption laws. Demographics would refer to factors such as an aging population in developed nations as well as worldwide increase in population count. Social environment forces are pressures emanating from the social structure, such as cultural differences and bribery concerns. Natural environment forces are outcomes of change with the characteristics of the population. Examples of outcomes would be the intensifying demand for resources such as oil, water, or food. The growing desire for sustainable products and operations, increasingly endangered species, and climate change. There are many consequences of the increased integration of the global economy. First, the volume of export has increased much faster than economic output. As the barriers of free flow of goods, services, and capital are lower than before. This is due to major industrial countries' emphasis on international commerce, free trading agreements that has brought about liberalized trading, and China's market reforms. As companies of all sizes invest overseas, foreign direct investment is playing an ever-increasing role in global economy. There is an increase of foreign direct investments in less developed countries from developed countries. Imports are penetrating deeper into the world's largest economies. The growth of import is a natural byproduct of the growth of world trade, and the trend towards manufacturing components and parts, or even entire products, overseas before shipping back home for final sale. The growth of world trade, foreign direct investments, and imports result in companies finding their home markets under attack from foreign competitors. This is true in the United States, where Japanese automakers have captured market shares from General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler. The opportunity is greater because the movement towards free trade has opened up many formerly protected national markets. Lastly, the environment is also more complex, with challenges of doing business in countries with radically different cultures and coordinating globally dispersed operations. The environment is also more competitive because, in addition to domestic competitors, the manager must deal with cost-efficient overseas competitors. Outsourcing occurs when an organization contracts with an outside provider to produce one or more of an organization's goods or services. Offshoring occurs when companies move jobs to another country, typically where wages are lower. This does not necessarily include an outside provider. Offshoring increases efficiency as it frees funds for expansion and additional employment. Offshoring also helps organizations tap into specialized talents abroad. Most of the concerns expressed about offshoring refers to outsourcing. People are concerned of losing high-paying jobs to foreign workforces. Major operations choose to send production lines, programming centers, or services to man help lines to low-wage countries such as India and China. One study shows that more than 3 million jobs will be sent abroad, and the decline in manufacturing jobs in the United States is evident. However, there is evidence to suggest that the cause of such job decline is innovation and not offshoring. As production methods increase in efficiency, less laborers are needed. Some organizations feel that they have a social responsibility to participate in the retraining programs to help these displaced workers identify and prepare for jobs that are less likely to move overseas. Wage stagnation is a negative effect of offshoring. Workers in those areas compete with their lower wage overseas counterparts. Managers should not start with the assumption that offshoring will be cheaper. They should consider the following factors. The first factor is, what is the competitive advantage of the products they offer? If the product is widely available and standardized, the only competitive advantage will be the price. It is therefore essential to seek the lowest possible production costs. So offshoring becomes something that the manager will consider. However, if rapid delivery, reliability, and customer contact are paramount, then offshoring is a less attractive option. Is the business in its early stages? This will be the next factor to consider. Offshoring does not benefit new businesses, as manager needs to stay close to the business and its customers to solve problems, to make sure everything is going according to plan. When the business is more matured, managers can afford to consider moving some operations overseas. Can production savings be achieved locally? This will be another factor to consider. Automation can often achieve significant savings in labor costs and eliminate the advantage of moving production abroad. When automation is not feasible, such as the operation of call centers, then offshoring can be considered. The last factor is, can the entire supply chain be improved? Improving the supply chain results in both lower costs and higher customer responsiveness. However, if the supply chain is not a major consideration, or when the supply chain is highly efficient or routine, and there is a need for more savings, then offshoring may be one of the ways for managers to achieve additional efficiencies.